on the diaspora this week.
Because most of the youth, it's not that they don't have something to do. Yeah, they have something to do, but they need support. How do you support them?
Nigerians in the United States mobilize resources for investment back home.
Nigeria must demand justice. You know, we must know who did it. The guy has 2 children and he didn't commit any crime.
Outrage as a Nigerian is allegedly burned to death in Rustenburg, South Africa.
We are in love. She loved me and I love her.
Love in China, the love story of Nigerians in the diaspora. It's good to have you join us on the Diaspora, the program that brings you what's happening with Nigerians around the world. Welcome to the program. My name is Makut Simon Macham. Let's get straight to business. We begin with the efforts of Nigerians in the diaspora to contribute to economic development of Nigeria. And during the week, the IMF World Bank spring meetings held in Washington, D.C., the United States of America. My colleague Leah Katumba Batunde was in the United States, where a U.S.-Nigeria investment summit was organized at the Nigerian mission in Washington, D.C. She sent in this report.
The Nigerian government has been keen on building a globally competitive economy with the much-needed resources and infrastructure to back it up after it emerged from a recession over a year ago. It is said that 1 in every 4 black persons is a Nigerian, and a large proportion of them are spread across the globe. Making Nigeria conducive for business is a necessity for the diaspora gathered here to rub minds with investors from other nations. The first ever summit did not get the expected takeoff.
We need to just look at those kinds of things that investors look at and have a very honest conversation, sector by sector, region by region, state by state. What do we need to do to make those areas attractive?
So the credit union is meant to harness the resources of the diasporans and will apply it in a better way than doing it individually.
This is the time for us to invest in our country, because there is nowhere today that you can invest and make money like our own country.
The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, is gaining global support, and the summit availed Nigerian institutions with the opportunity to source for investors for the ambitious target, which aims to diversify the economy and create more opportunities for growth.
We have stabilized our political space, and we think we can build on that for greater good of our people and the world in general. So this is the time for people to look the way of Africa and the way of Nigeria, so that jointly we can make meaningful contributions to society.
Majorly, we are looking at the area of technology transfer, as the number of farmers that are being covered by Bank of Agriculture increases. There's need for us to automate our process. We are also looking at variety of inputs.
They're talking about pragmatic issues. They're not getting preoccupied with complaints or policy issues, and they're looking at B2B, business to business, and B2G, business to government transactions. So I find that this one is much more effective and robust than the typical Africa or Nigeria business conference.
Because most of the youth, it's not that they don't have something to do. Yeah, they have something to do, but they need support. How do you support them?
The summit is tagged Nigeria is open for business, and the Nigerian Embassy in Washington intends to make it an annual investment event.
Thank you very much, Leah. Now, still talking business and how Nigerians in the diaspora are reconnecting back home, we spoke with a Nigerian professor based in the United States, Michael Omiadi. He is a professor of business and management. He spoke to us on how best the Nigerian economy can be revamped and indeed what Nigerians in the diaspora can do. Here is that interview.
We must begin to define whether we want a free market economy total liberalization of the economy according to the 21st century globalization economic process. Or we want to go the other side. But to me, I'll say the best, because I'm a free market economist, I will say liberalization of the economy, free market. We give us the fundamental pillar policy tools to now begin to draw our economy to a very important step and stage. For example, if we are able now to define that we are going to have a free market economy in our country, then we will begin to talk about common sense regulation. We will begin to talk about low taxes. We will begin to talk about standardization, which means we begin to understand that government has no business in business. Because the reactionary process is when government has business in business, what you see is high regulation, stiff regulation. We have a lot of Nigerians who are outside the shores of this country with a lot of money that we want to come and invest in this country. But they want to invest on a free market stance. Okay? The other day, the presidency and the president and the vice president, we are talking about ease of doing business. They have to open it more. This has to be more open, very more. For example, we got to begin to tell the people how to behave. We are not going to be able to begin to support or give credence to bad behavior. Any bad behavior must be punished. That is how it is done across the world. That is how it is done everywhere in the world. If they want people from outside to come, one of the things they got to do is government got to be an independent observer, a referee, supporting business and supporting society. I must not come into business. Because if they come into business, it means stiff regulation. I need a permit to put Port Harcourt refinery here. Imagine if everybody comes in with a Port Harcourt refinery in each of the states. There will be no subsidy again on petroleum product. Our people will be producing petroleum. They will not import anymore. They will define the trend. But because government is always in business, putting these things on special lists, that is where you have the problem. The people now say, no, if they are still putting these things in special lists, they are not, and we're not going to come and do business here because we are not sure whether the place is safe to do business. I say, but if government comes and opens up, that is why I say total liberalization. Government says, come on, do business with us. Whatever you can do, do it, man. We are here. But we have our regulations, common sense regulations. If you come, if you are producing, say, petroleum products, this is our standard. This is our quality standard. This is our regulation. If you don't do it as we say it, we close you. But if you do it as we say it, enjoy your business.
Now let's turn our attention to a burning issue that has been trending over the week, and that is the alleged murder of a Nigerian based in Rustenburg, South Africa, where he was allegedly burned alive while the police who were nearby could not help. We spoke with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Abike Dabiri Erewa.
Well, incidentally, I was in South Africa on 17th of April, and that was the day that a case came up in court. In that particular area, Rustenburg, it's a volatile area and hostile area. There has been issues with the Nigerian community there. They accuse them of drugs, prostitution, and there are 14 Nigerians from that community that are in court over being accused of public violence. I think there has been some disturbance as to, it's been an issue within that community. Now, those in that community have warned the judge that if you release those Nigerians on bail, we'll burn their houses. So there has been a case of we'll deal with these Nigerians anytime they come back here. You know, and that particular case, there was a court session, and when they have court cases like that, staff from the mission in Pretoria and the consulate in Joburg usually are in court with the lawyers. And I also tell you something: the members of the Nigerian Union, you know, lawyers amongst them get together to try to provide legal services for these Nigerians. So this must have been a fallout of the threat to deal with any Nigerian they find in that community. So this poor, innocent, apparently gentleman was actually just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they seemed to see that it was Nigerian, according to reports that we have, and then burnt him callously as they did. Now, there are two issues here. There are cases in South Africa where policemen are the ones involved. And such cases, our mission and our consulate have been able to get those policemen to be charged to court. So we have a couple of policemen in court in South Africa for various offenses related to killings or maltreatment of Nigerians. So those ones are going on. This is a case of a mob action, jungle justice. Not even jungle justice, because the guy didn't do anything wrong. What needs to be done is to ensure that there are consequences for the action of that mob. Which I hope South African authorities will be serious about getting them, because if there are no consequences for the action, it will continue to happen.
So does it appear that there is a problem between Nigeria and South Africa, or Nigerians and South Africans, or are these isolated issues?
South Africa is dealing with xenophobia. They're also trying to deal with it. So it's not about Nigerians, but about blacks in South Africa dealing with blacks from other parts of Africa. So, and I'm sure it's an issue they're trying to deal with. But, Nigeria, as usual, we always have the highest number because of our population. And then don't also forget that in South Africa, if you've beat up one person, one Nigerian, they've already killed 50 of themselves. There's a lot of violence and a lot of crime in South Africa. And that is a matter of fact. So, but there's no problem government to government level. In fact, the relationships are being strengthened, it's being made even better. But at that level, and at a particular, level and income of people is where you have issues. And that is why I believe that both Nigeria and South Africa should embark on a massive awareness, even corporate bodies, that have interest here, that South African organizations that have interest here, should show an interest in, working at reducing this ignorance, on the part of South Africans. But on the part of Nigerians, you can't go to somebody's country, do drugs, commit crime blatantly, and expect them not to be angry with you. So, but when those who do this needs to be punished and penalized. But you cannot make one bad apple spoil the whole bunch. And it is wrong to just say one person, as, oh, you're a Nigerian, this happened in my community, and then you do what happened to the gentleman in this instance. So we have to continue to work on it. When people say reciprocity, I mean, you cannot say, okay, you killed this mob action in South Africa, do the same here, But I'm hoping, and we have to appeal to the South African authorities to do something drastically so that Nigerians will not get to that level, because we shouldn't, degenerate to that level. It's an issue of xenophobia which South Africa is trying to deal with, and which we hope that they deal with. But this particular guy that was killed, Nigeria must demand justice. We must know who did it. The guy has 2 children, and he didn't commit any crime. So the embassy has been meeting with the South African authorities, and I believe that results will be achieved. We have to demand justice for the late gentleman.
So it's alleged also that the Nigerian embassy in South Africa is not doing much. Is that the true picture? They
are doing a lot. In fact, more than ever before. Both the consulate in Johannesburg and the mission in Pretoria are doing a lot. You see, and they are doing everything they can do within their power. They've met with the South African authorities. As I'm speaking, a lot of engagements are going on, and South African authorities have pledged that they will try to get whoever was in charge of that mob action. And that's why I said, like, the early warning signal that was put in place needs to be strengthened. It was put in place by both countries. It needs to be strengthened and reinforced. So the embassy, in fairness to them, have done quite. Like I said, this is the first time you're having policemen being charged to court for assault and killings of Nigerians. And the cases are progressing in various courts in South Africa. But I'm sure even South Africa, they find this embarrassing. And so they have said, even with our officials at our embassies in South Africa. So we just have to ensure that we continue to fight for the rights of Nigerians anywhere in the world, while at the same time we appeal to Nigerians to obey the laws of the countries where they are.
Indeed, something urgently needs to be done to tackle this issue, before it gets out of hand. Now let's turn our attention to some more cheering issues. As we know, most Nigerians are said to migrate out of the country for economic reasons, seeking greener pastures. But is greener pasture the only thing they look for? Well, let's hear from Julieta Aino, who reports that in China, some Nigerians are finding love apart from greener pastures. Julieta, tell us that story.
Yu Zhao and Olusegun Adekomi have officially joined the Nigerian-China mixed family community in China.
Actually, I found something, and that is called love. You know, I really love her, and let me put it this way: the first time I met her, we met in Joy City, and I was like, oh my God, you know. But really, to be sincere, it's love, and I find it so easy to fall in love with Chinese girl because of one reason. Honestly, we are in love. She loved me, and I love her.
Signed, sealed, and joined after 3 years of courtship, they happily showed off their marriage certificates.
Yeah, I love you, my baby.
I love you too.
Originally from Osun State, Segun was based in Ibadan before moving to China. Having spent 3 of his 6 years in China getting to know Yu Zhao, he is confident that differences in culture that trouble mixed marriages in China is not a problem.
When we start our courtship, I told her about something like, I don't care about culture. And that is true, because I don't really care. If you really love me, don't care about culture. Because if you cared about Chinese culture, you won't be with me. That's it. And I'm happy today, everything works.
Because we're different, have a lot of different things, so that means I want to try to know, I want to try to learn it, so that's why we start our relationship.
Yu Zhao, also known as Claire, has proudly accepted her Nigerian name.
I have Nigerian name, it's Anike, yes.
A lot of people cannot pronounce her name, and that's why we choose a simple name like Anike, you know. And likewise, me too. A lot of people, Chinese people, cannot pronounce my name. Sometimes they make me angry, but they choose to give me Shenli, which means victory. And my name too is Victory. Segun means victory. Victor, you know, understand? Something like that.
She has been to Nigeria twice with Segun.
Know each other, and then is trust each other, and last one is understand each other.
Though mixed and interracial marriages are slowly gaining recognition in the south of China, the general population is still rather closed on the issue.
The wedding is an interesting one. When I came here, I was surprised with what I saw, you know. But really, I'm a friend to both parties, and all I would say, it's a good wedding. I would say there's a little challenge there, you know, when I started with her, but I believe now everything is calm and everything is going smoothly. So what I would advise my brothers, my fellow brothers, is when they see another girl from another country, another culture, they should just go for it, and they're going to get the best.
I actually enjoyed it. It was a good experience. I love watching the people dance and everyone having fun. When we first met, it's been an experience, and I'm enjoying it so far, and we're learning a lot from each other.
Yu Zhao's mom says she is open and believes the guy is good for her daughter.
现在全世界都是一家人，祝愿两国的朋友怎么说？随便成为更好的朋友。
Besides, one world, one dream, and we are family. All the world, everybody is family, and we try to open ourselves to adapt everybody like that.
Just like a traditional Chinese wedding, The photo session took the better part of the day.
Wow, congratulations to a lucky Nigerian in faraway China. We hope you bring back your bride to Nigeria soon to taste the Nigerian culture, the Nigerian cuisine, and indeed, the Nigerian hospitality. Now is that time when we look for one Nigerian that is raising the Nigerian brand and indeed the Nigerian flag very high out there. The Diasporan of the Week is our next segment on the program.
Born 1962, Nigerian-born Judge Chile Ebere Osuji was elected as President of the International Criminal Court at The Hague, Netherlands, for a 3-year term. He has been a judge at the court since March 2012 and was the legal advisor to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. Judge Ebere Osuji was born in Anara, Isiala Mbano, Imo State, Nigeria, on 2nd September 1962. He obtained his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Calabar, Masters of Laws degree from McGill University, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and Doctor of Laws degree from the University of Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Ebere Osuji was called to the Nigerian bar in 1986 and practiced briefly before moving to Canada for further studies. After obtaining his Master of Laws degree from McGill in 1991, he worked as a barrister in Canada, having been called to the bar in Ontario and in British Columbia in 1993. From 1997 to 2005, Ebere Osuji worked at the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda as prosecution counsel and senior legal officer to the judges of the tribunal. From 2005 to 2007, he worked in Canada as a barrister and law lecturer. He became the legal advisor to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay, in 2010 and held a cross-appointment as the Principal Prosecution Appeals Counsel at the Special Court for Sierra Leone in the case of Charles Taylor, the former president of Liberia. He has authored 2 books and numerous law journal articles in international law. From September 2013, Ebere Osuji, alongside other judges, presided over the trial against Deputy President William Ruto of Kenya, who was accused of stoking a wave of killing for political gain after the country's contested 2007 elections. For being the first Nigerian to be elected President of the International Criminal Court and raising the Nigerian flag high at the world stage, Chile Ebere Osuji is our Diasporan of the Week.
Nigerians indeed always at the top of the ladder wherever you find them in the world. It is a pride that the green, white, green flag is flying very high out there. Now, it's time to give you some diaspora news as we take on news about Nigerians around the world. Diaspora news is next on the program.
A World Bank report says Nigerians living abroad sent home about $22 billion in 2017, an increase of almost 16.2% from what they repatriated in 2016. The report, however, notes that many Nigerians in the diaspora have continued to face the challenge of high charges of up to 9.4% as they sent remittances home. Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora, Rose Oko, has called for strong measures that will discourage continued attacks and killings of Nigerians in South Africa and other countries. The senator spoke with journalists in Abuja.
The AU needs to look at the measures that can be adopted to ensure that South Africa sits up to its responsibility.
Hundreds of Nigerian doctors in the diaspora are set to join their counterparts at home for the 57th annual conference of the Nigerian Medical Association. The doctors, according to reports, will be discussing how they work to reserve medical tourism by Nigerians to other countries and how to properly harness the experience, talent, and resources of Nigerian medical professionals around the world.
While Diaspora News draws the curtains on the program this week, thank you very much for watching. We hope you join us next week for another edition. On behalf of the rest of the team, I am Makut Simon Macham. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.